Welcome to a series of videos on literature searching and proposal writing. This is the first of 5 videos, and I'm going to explain a little bit about how all 5 videos came about, and then we'll go ahead and proceed into part 1, literature searching. I am the presenter, and I'm currently an adjunct professor at Tuskegee University in the College of Engineering. I'm retired from the chemistry department, and over the course of the latter stages of my career, I have taught and developed courses on literature searching, technical writing, and proposal development. I am a chemist, so these are not my areas of expertise, but these courses are useful to graduate students and upper-level undergraduates, and this is why they've been developed. The background for these videos is as follows. There are 2 courses offered at Tuskegee University. One has been offered for a while, that's literature search and technical writing, and the other is new, just offered for the first time this spring, 2017. This is the proposal development course. The literature search and technical writing has been offered online for the past 2 spring semesters. Now, these courses were developed, online courses were developed as part of a grant from the National Science Foundation, but because they were already in the coursework at Tuskegee, we had no problem presenting them as courses. It was more of a challenge to present them to the other schools that were involved in this NSF grant. And so we developed webinars, 2 webinars, 2-hour summary of 4 credits of coursework. And we gave these on March 6th and March 8th of 2017. And now what we're trying to do is just make what was presented available to any and all that want to look at it on YouTube. Okay, so this is how this came about, and what you're going to see are 5 individual videos. This first one on literature searching, and we'll get to it in a moment, and the second one is on technical writing skills. Then we go to 2 more parts that are under the umbrella of academic grant proposals. And finally, part 5, we do a brief YouTube video on ethical considerations. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started with part 1, literature searching. Now, the objectives in this video are going to be to present a brief discussion on the research question. Then we're going to discuss the development of search questions. And then we're going to look at some of the search engines that are available. And finally, there is an assignment where you're going to have the opportunity, if you wish, to search your own research question. Okay, so this is what we're trying to accomplish. And to begin, I'd like to first discuss the research question, and I've got here in the picture the results of an experiment, a simple experiment. There was a plant that was treated with purified water, and it's doing quite well. And then there was a plant that was treated with microwaved water, and it is not doing well. It's alive, it looks like, but not very much so. So the research question that could be developed from this observation is, why does the plant grow in purified water but not in microwave water? Okay, and from that research question, a search question can be developed. And what you would be concerned with here would be who else might have done work on this same area, what variables have been examined, temperature, time, and what questions remain to be answered, which would kind of evolved from doing the search and seeing what has been done. And as you do the searching, what very often happens is your research question starts to evolve. And so it may no longer be the simple question that's at the top of this slide, but it may be something more defined in terms of the conditions for the experiment. Okay, so again, here I'm making a distinction between a research question and then the search questions that you ask to find out what is going on in the world on that particular topic. Okay? Now, developing a search question, I consider it an art, and how you develop it really depends on what you're searching, what your research question is. If your research question is something that has not been done very much by anybody else in the world, then you're going to have one approach to trying to find out what information is there. You're going to have to probably play with quite a few questions to make sure that very little work has been done on that area. However, if your work is something where a lot of other researchers have examined similar questions, and that's more often than not usually the case, then you've got to work out how to narrow down your topic, and that's what this slide is all about. You've got a general topic, for example, nanoparticles, and probably too many answers. You narrow down the topic to nanosilicates, and maybe still too many answers. And then you start talking about mixing nanosilicates in polymers and so on. And your question may evolve down to a particular polymer, and it may evolve down to derivatives of the nanosilicate, or it may even be a particular size of the particles and so on. So again, how you search could be kind of overwhelming, but that's the art of it. You kind of play with it. You have to be very flexible, and you have to maybe be very broad and then be able to narrow it down and not feel that you're losing information. What you're doing is trying to get the information to be manageable so that you can make some sense out of your own particular research question. Okay, I gave in the webinar a quiz, and obviously I can't do it in a YouTube video, but I wanted to share this with you because I thought the results were interesting. We asked the question, which of the following is a logical search question for research on corrosion of materials in the environment of the Middle East? And there were 4 possible answers here. And what I stressed in giving the quiz was that there was no wrong answer, there was no right answer, there was just whatever they felt was the best answer. And they had to pick one. And so they did, and the results that were obtained are as follows. Most of the participants felt that B and C were the best answers. B is, what is the effect of the Middle East environment on the corrosion of materials? And C was, does steel corrode faster than polymer composites? Okay, so that was where most fell, and then the A and the D answer had a lesser contribution. So what did I take from this? I felt it was kind of interesting because, as I said, there was no right or wrong answer, I felt. But this kind of demonstrates the kind of questions that you may want to be thinking about when you have a particular research question. In this case, it was research on materials. Didn't say what kind of materials, just said materials in the environment of the Middle East. And so B and C are logical, but really, so are A and D. And so in searching, you might want to ask all 4 search questions. Okay? This slide just indicates a problem that may occur if your search engine does not allow for spelling differentiations, and some do and some don't. In this case, I was comparing Google and Google Scholar, and you can see there's a huge difference depending on simply whether or not you make the word singular or plural, where you draw the space between words. And so this is something that you have to consider when you're asking your question. If you're getting an answer that doesn't make any sense to you, then consider the fact that this may be the problem. Okay, we're going to take a look at search engines now. We just saw the results for Google and Google Scholar. Those are search engines, but we're going to look at some other search engines. And basically, these search engines are ways to get answers, and they're collections of huge amounts of data, and you've got to ask a question so that you ferret out the information that you want from the search engine. Okay, it's a way of exploring. It's a way of exploring. But before we look at these search engines, and these are the four that we're going to look at, Science Direct, Engineering Village, Chemical Abstracts, and Medline, before we do that, I'll give you another quiz. Well, I'm not giving it to you because you can't answer it, but I gave this quiz as the second quiz before we looked at the search engines. Which search engine do you currently use most often? Select one. And the result that was obtained was interesting. Most of the participants currently mostly use Google Scholar, 72%. And I'm sure there are reasons for that. Some of it may simply be not being familiar with the other search engines, and some of it may be a money issue. But anyway, interestingly enough, Google Scholar was the winner in this quiz. And again, no wrong answer, no right answer, but it gives a clue as to where the individuals, who are all science and engineering graduate students, where they go looking for their information. You might ask yourself that question right now before we continue on. You know, which one do you use mostly currently? Okay, we're going to first look at some of the products from Elsevier. And in particular, we're going to look at Science Direct briefly and Scopus also briefly, and not at the others, but I've given you a website where you can go and get some more information about the products that Elsevier has. Science Direct is a product that probably most universities subscribe to. So if you're a student at a university or faculty, you have access to Science Direct most likely. And it's a really good search engine. Lots of articles. There is a free search available. However, there is also an improved version of their product that you do have to pay for. And usually, again, universities do pay for them. So I definitely recommend you're exploring Science Direct. As you get familiar with how to ask questions, if you're not already, you'll find this a very useful product. The second one by Elsevier, Scopus, is an even better product, in my opinion. Okay, I've had the opportunity to use it whenever I've done a review of a journal paper for Elsevier, and when I do that, my pay, so to speak, is a 3-month subscription to Scopus. So that's when I've had the opportunity to use it. Some campuses do subscribe to this. It is more expensive than Science Direct, but it's also, again, in my opinion, better. More records, and so more information that you might find on your particular topic. Just one more comment on both Scopus and Science Direct, and this will apply to other search engines as well. Full articles are available for many of the hits that you'll get, but the caveat here is that your institution, if you're searching through an institution, has to subscribe to the journal. Okay, so this means that if your institution does not subscribe to that journal, then you are going to have to go to library loan, interlibrary loan, or some other mechanism in order to get a copy of the journal article. Another search engine is STN International, and this is again, an excellent search engine, in my opinion. It is operated by Chemical Abstract Services, which is an arm of the American Chemical Society. And it has databases through Chemical Abstracts as well as through a Japanese and a German site. It has a huge number of databases. It is not free, and so not all universities or colleges will subscribe to it. However, there is a low-cost version, SciFinder Scholar, which is also quite good, that can be used to search a lot of the information on STN International. Okay, very, very good search engine. Now, I'd just like to say a little bit about Chemical Abstract Services. I'll give you the website where you can get more information. As I said, it's part of the American Chemical Society, and CAS was established over 100 years ago. Okay, it has more than 40 million bibliographic records, and it also has a registry. And what this is a huge number of compounds, including polymers, have been identified by number rather than by name. And this is useful because very often a given compound or even a given polymer, maybe especially a given polymer, might have one name for the engineer or industry, another name by the chemist, another name by someone in biology. But the registry number would be like a Social Security number in the United States, and it would be a given number. And so if you knew that, regardless of what you called this particular compound, you could search for it by that number and get hits across all of the disciplines. Okay, so CAS, a very valuable search engine. Engineering Village, also not free, but a commonly found search engine at institutions, obviously at institutions that have engineering colleges, but also at institutions that do not, because it covers a range of topics that are not just engineering focused, but are related to engineering. Okay, so I recommend this search engine also very strongly. I've used it quite a bit, and I give you here a website that you can go to in order to get some more information about this search engine. Medline is free. I give you the website where you can get to it. It has a huge number of articles. They are life science related. It's been around for a long time. It's got a large database, and if you are in a biology area, this is probably the first place that you want to go. I also give you a website for other biology literature databases, and you may want to go to that, again, if you're in biology, in order to find out what else is out there. Okay? The bottom line is that there are many options available for searching besides Google Scholar, in case that had been your go-to way of searching. And I would strongly, strongly recommend that you explore as many as you can. Okay? You definitely don't want to limit yourself to one search engine. Even if you're using STN International, go ahead and use Engineering Village or Scopus or Science Direct. You know, play around and see the variations that you get in asking the same research question of these different search engines. Okay? So, again, do not limit yourself to a single search engine, and definitely don't limit yourself to Google. Google Scholar, okay, but not just Google. Alrighty. Now, assignment number 1. This is an assignment that was given during the webinar, and I'm giving it again because I think it will get you to kind of apply some of what we've been talking about here. And if you really, really, really want to submit it to me, you can. I can be found on the Tuskegee University website, and you can send me an email, and I will do my best to interact with you, but I don't know how many people are going to be looking at this video, so I don't want to make it an open invitation. We'll see what happens. But the question is this, very simple questions. 1, write a research question that applies to your current research. Okay, so that would be step 1. That shouldn't take very much time. And then indicate in writing how you have searched the literature to obtain background information related to your research question. And I give you some options here that you might consider. Okay? You might also ask yourself, well, okay, this is the way I've been doing it. How might I change? How might I change? Or will I change? Or am I doing it exactly how I want to do it? You know, consider the fact that there may be an expansion that you can do in the way that you have been searching the literature. Okay, so again, if you feel the need to communicate with me on this assignment, please do. If you are fine with just working it on your own, that's fine also. I would recommend, though, doing the assignment because that's how you're going to kind of bring to closure this particular video. And the next video in this series of 5 will be part 2 on technical writing skills. Okay? Hope to connect with you there.